Hey everyone, it's Kai, and today we got a game sent in by my good friend Ryan Kai. He's also playing this game. He's playing on the right, he's playing Shadow Paladin, and then on the left he's got his friend Nikki, he's playing Gurguit. So we've got two top tier decks playing against each other. We've got the long-term tier 1 deck in Luard versus the new kid on the block. Gurguit is pretty much a kid, and in Gold Paladin. So there we go, Hobby Base. Go to Hobby Base if you're in Malaysia. You can see the card there. So here we see a very contentious card, Ryan Road Knees, which is one of the big topics that a lot of people have been talking about. Should I run Knees, should I not? It comes down to the philosophy of how you're building Luard, and we see Knees getting off the Leofal search, which is amazing. Getting a +1 like that is just great. But yeah, it comes down to the philosophy of how you're building Luard. It comes down to space. Do you have space for bats? Do you want to put space for routers? Or do you want to run Knees? And Knees basically tries to marginally help your aggressive grade 2 game that you want to play, and if you feel the game is won at grade 2 like that with Leofals, then sure, then Knees helps promote that playstyle. But if you don't think so, if you don't really care about running low grade 2 counts, because Shadow Paladin, well, Luard does run low ones, like 8, then you just play normally, right? You just don't run Knees, you can replace it with other slots. Now, I know Ryan does run Apocalypse Bats as well, so I think somewhere along the line he's probably cutting like a brand or something, but I know he's kind of thinking of changing that decision. But here we can see the Knees in action, and we see that on the other side, on Gurgit's side, his Jeffrey missed. Jeffrey is also a top 7 searcher. Second effect, both their second effects are kind of marginal, but Jeffrey's one kind of is like a +5k and a shield when it comes into play by an effect. So yeah. Here we see the Leofal come into play. He can search. You can basically put up a very aggressive opener here. You don't really search for anything like Abyssal Owls because you're going first, and you don't get the Soul Boss on draw. But you then search for Charon, and Charon means you get it's basically free. Like the Leofal was free. You pay a soul for it, and now you'll have 1 CB able to do something else. You will get damage denied in the next turn, and you can just play another Leofal. And this Leofal can once again do the same thing. Charon's hitting 11k, and then just putting on some pressure, right? Some nice early pressure. 3 columns already at the bat, and if you're dealing that kind of damage early, then later on your big stride turns are going to be much more painful. So 3 lanes already. He moves his Charon back, so it looks like he's going to put down something. Puts down a Painter. Painter refunds the soul. He's training his hand for soul. But also, like, in this position, it's kind of decent. He's got 1 CB face up. He's got, he can't get damage denied, basically. And then he's basically just attacking 3 times with pretty decent columns. The Vanguard column is pretty much not blockable favorably. And then the last column you have to 15k guard it, which is kind of annoying having to drop a 15k guard that early. So you might just take it, and well, otherwise, you know, guarding it is fine if he's got a 15k in his hand. He triggered a front last turn, but he decides to take it. Decides to take it. He wants to work with 2 CB. All right, so back to Nick's turn. Hot Woolly rides there's an Aglavale, which is a pretty good ride. I can see why he want to take the damage, because yeah, CB1, search top 3 for a card is pretty good. And then if you combo it with anything else like Paramours and other things in the deck that might require CB, then sure, that's what you want. He gets a Jeffrey as well, so Jeffrey gets the power boost, so he's able to play aggressively to get some extra power from that. And let's see what else he does. He looks like he does have like a Paramour in hand, so he can definitely play that. And I think he's also got a Dindrain, alright? So he can basically get a free field, pretty much. Paramour comes down, uses the Act Effect to CB1. You call a grade 2 or lower, and then you draw a card. So he calls Dindrain, draws the card. Is he going to use this counter charge or the... so he goes for the counter charge. Means that he can either saves him for the next turn, he can't get damage denied next turn, or he gets to do more things. Alright, which is pretty good. He plays another Paramour, which is great, and he plays down another Jeffrey. Alright, so that Jeffrey gets power. But yeah, you want to draw with Paramour, or it's a pretty terrible effect, you know. Looks like Nick might forget to draw from Paramour, which is, I mean, CB1 call a card from hand, that seems very, very bad, right? When you think about it. So, unfortunate. It looks like he's truly forgotten it. This thing's swinging in for 16. And, easy guard, drops a bat for that. This column is pretty big, so it should be a no guard here. That's fine. Trigger, draw trigger, which is great. It draws into a Wonder Ezel. And then lastly, this column's pretty big too. But that's okay. 3CB is great to work with. But looks like Ryan is G assisting, which is not what you want to do. And, ooh, off the last card of the deck, he gets not the perfect ride. He gets Drag Driver instead of Drag Heart. But at least he's not stuck. But what is he going to get rid of from his hand? His hand seems pretty decent. Looks like maybe a Morfessa and a crit? Or an owl and something? So, okay, he gets rid of the crit, and I think it's a choice between the owl and the Morfessa. But both are quite searchable. You run more owls in your hand, like in your deck, usually. Actually, they're around the same. It should be 4 owl, 4 Morfessa. But technically, owl has more defensive value. So, it should... Okay, he's getting rid of the owl? I think the Morfessa maybe is better. None are in the damage. Okay, so he gets rid of the owl. Okay, no, he gets rid of the Morfessa. Okay, so there we go. He uses Drag Driver's Force. Gets the Force marker. Puts it on the Nightmare Painter side. I think he hits 25 now. And then now you can use Drag Driver's skill to call something from the deck and boost that Leofold column to something like probably a 15. Since 2 Charons are out, he probably doesn't have any left in the deck. He's got plenty of counterblast to work, so going for the Abyssal Owl is correct, because now he can CB1 draw, and he really needs to draw it into that Drag Heart. Draws. Don't know what he draws, but it's fine. He's got swinging in now, 15. The middle column is around plus 20, so it's like a 33, 41. So that's pretty much a no guard there, I think, unless he wants to use the null that he triggered last turn. Generally speaking, you can probably take the chance. Yeah, no guards, nothing, but yeah, at least he gets the heart, which is good. Sets up the next turn. Another Wonder Ezel goes out of the deck, and then this one's hitting 25, so this is kind of annoying to guard as well. He needs 20 shield, but here's the thing. He can take this, because next turn, since he's got the heart, everything's swinging with a crit, and you know that you've seen the bat, so everything except the Vanguard will have a crit. So there's no point staying at 4. He takes the damage. Actually, it heals, so it goes back down to 4. But even if he stayed at 5, I don't think the difference would have mattered that much. He could have just nulled the Vanguard. He just basically had to guard 1 extra attack. So instead of no guarding the Vanguard, I hope your opponent doesn't crit. So he rides a Gurguit, which is good. It's optimal, I guess. And now it's gonna be Pain Train for Ryan, because now, basically, as long as he's got a Percival, and I'm pretty sure he just showed a Percival, everything is going to get 10k. Well, everything that is special, not special summon, Superior Cold is going to get 10k. And his Vanguard is also going to get 10k. He just needs to, looks like he's just reading the effect. I think it got confused with the Paramore. No, Paramore cannot call grade 3, so if it could, it'd be pretty broken, because your Paramore would call a Percival at grade 2, and then suddenly you're just pain training your opponent, you're destroying him. Pretty unfairly, so no, but now he at least, you know, he calls a Percival anyway, discards a card, and is just going to use Percival effect to create another Excel circle, which is great. It's great. 2 Excel circles, this is the new meta. Yeah, you draw from the Excel 2 first before searching a deck, so you can technically draw your Aglavale and just feel really bad. So there we go, comes out, that gets 10k, then gets a 10k, and yeah, like, one thing with Gurguit, you have to be careful about your counterblast management. You've got things like Paramore that uses a counterblast, but if you use it, you do get some really decent value when it comes to power and the extra drawback. But also, like, just knowing, okay, I need to keep counterblast alive. I need some counterblast to use for my defensive options if I want to use it. All comes down to that. So learning how to use counterblast is actually kind of important in planning ahead for Gurguit. Yeah, that 17 going into the 13k, intercept by Leofold. Great force 13k numbers. Looks like he takes the Aglavale goes in. He's now Ryan's turn to guard. Takes it, gets trigger, pretty good. Luard's now 23 and basically negates the 10k buff from Gurguit. Gurguit's going to swing in, do the top 2 check, or top 5 check, I mean, to call 2. And what does he get? What does he get? So right now, those 2 columns are not hitting. They're 16 and 17. They need a trigger to at least go through. He gets the grade 2 counter charger. I think it's Belengaria. And then Gorbadoc. It's a really weird name. So that Gorbadoc is hitting. It's 28, and the Belengaria is hitting just 24 and 28. So yeah, but these should be some pretty easy guards. Uses two grade 1s to guard, pushing up to 43, which should be a 2 to pass. And let's see if our buddy Gurguit triggers some fronts. Alright. Front's the most uninteractive trigger. A 2 to pass, no problem. Does the cut, does the quick cut. First check, a draw trigger, drawing into another draw null. So that his defense is pretty good right now. His defense is pretty good. Puts it on the Paramour, so now that Paramour column hits. And this thing is gonna hit his rear guard. Just get rid of that Nightmare Painter. And everything's basically hitting for like 5 and 10k guard. This one is hitting for 10k guard. Is it? I don't think you're swinging that first, right? So it's 13, 18, then plus 10k, 28. So I don't think you're swinging that first. You did with your 5ks on the first. Hit with either the Belengaria or the 27k dude, 27 column. So also they're discussing. You gotta keep in track what has power, because yeah, Gurgit's skill, putting it there. So that's yes. Okay, there we go. He's attacking with a 5k guard first. Belengaria, yep, 24. He's gonna no guard this. Oh, okay. But now he's forced to drop 2 cards to guard the rest. So 1 and 2. He chooses the heal. Man, his hand is we saw nulls in his hand. So okay, Rise the Heart. Now gets a force. So since he runs bats, you kind of want to spread the force markers. So the next one should go to the other side. And then he's using Heart's effect to sack 2 to draw and retire. And you'd probably retire a Paramour, because Paramour is an act skill, so it has more value than that Belengaria. So he pops onto the Paramours, draws, and then does a fake stride into Drag Drive. He's looking through his deck, puts back Painter and the Owl, and then searches for Drag Driver. And he should put the Force Marker on the other side, and should get to search 3 cards. There we go. Another golden Force Marker. Those Force Markers are really nice. They're nice and fat. Feels good in the hand. So wish they released them in English. Alright, come on. give us the golden Force Markers. So he's searching through the deck. Gets a Painter, a Decrep's. Decrep's very important. And then an Abyssal Owl. So he's getting that draw. Now he's able to get the Soul Blast draw now. And he's got quite a lot of soul, so pretty decent. Everything gets crits as well. And he's at a prime position, right? His opponent's at 4. He's got the bats. Your bat goes in. Yeah, everything hitting like a truck. Opponent has to, if his opponent has to no guard, he has to no guard the Vanguard. But technically, look, there's still quite a lot of crits out in the deck, so should be nice. Plays a Morfessa from hand, and he's got his setup not excellent, I guess. He's missing a force marker because he was well, he's missing like 2 force markers, I think, because he didn't ride Heart in the first ride. So that's actually quite significant. It'd be like a 3-1 right now, maybe. No, it would be like a 4-1 or 3-2. So yeah, he's missing out on quite a bit of power. But this one's swinging in. This is 15-25 with a crit. He's got like Nick's got quite a lot of hand, and he also has defensives if he wants to use it. He's got two CBs, so he can use a defensive this turn and still have 1 to do the multi-attack next turn. So yeah, he's got a lot of hand. He's got 3 nulls, dude. I don't think he's dying this turn. This is it's pretty crazy when you think about it. How is he gonna guard this though? He needs 50. It should be 15 for this. 15 for this. Probably want to move like intercept and then call the Aglavale. Yeah, that's like a 15. That feels awkward. Okay, he can keep a Paramour for next turn if he wants to. So it's a 10 out of 5. Belengaria is absolutely useless right now. So it's correct. Morfessa swing in. This is a 38. 38 with a crit. So you can probably he's using 2 cards to guard, 2 front triggers to guard. Goes to 42. Uses Morfessa's skill, should be a bat, and then the bat calls out the bat, and then creates those extra attacks. There we go. And then he's swinging with the Vanguard now. Vanguard is plus 25. It's like a 38-46. Just nulls it. Easy. Easy. Still has so many... He's got 3 nulls, right? So he can easily just null the rest and and hopefully win the next turn, right? He will be at low hand, though. I don't think he has that many hand. If he nulls all 3, he'll be at, like, what? Like, 1 or 2 hands the next turn? Yeah, so nulls, discards the Aglavale. Triggers. Crit. Not really what you want. Probably want something like a heal. But his hand size is quite low already. Even if his opponent just gets another Excel Circle, everything gets 15k. That's special, superior called on Gurguit's side. So it's tough. It's tough. Second one is a blank. It's a Morfessa, which kind of sucks. Puts the crit on the column with only 1 force marker to spread it out. But here's the null, and then this should be another null as well. So didn't even have to use Gurguit's defensive skill here because all the nulls are in his hand. So now he's got 1 hand, he's going to draw and go to 2 hand. He still looks like he's nulling with the Wonder Ezel. Okay, stand and draw. Draws. What does he draw? Okay, he rides his Gurguit, gets another Excel 2. Quite a lot of stuff now. And then he draws a card. It looks like, was that a Din Drain? Din Drain? Okay, he uses Paramour's skill. And does the CB1 for Paramour. You can call a Din Drain and basically get it for free. But I think in this situation, you'd probably use something like, would you use the counter charge? You can use the draw. If you had a... He's thinking where to put it. If you're banking on something like superior calling a Percival in battle phase, then sure. Yeah, there we go. And then... Well, I think the last one was Gorbaduck, right? So you can play the Gorbaduck down. He's only got 1 card in... Okay, yeah, he forgot to draw. He forgot to draw from the Paramour. But now he did, so he drew. I think that one was a front trigger. So Gorbaduck's skill. He sees a Percival. I wouldn't get it. Because if you get the Percival, you have to discard another card, and that Percival just becomes just a 12k beater. So you'd rather keep it in the deck and then try to get it from your Gurguit skill to create another battle phase Excel marker and get power, etc. and get another Aglavale, right? Because you have to discard for Percival as well. So with that last card in his hand, which is a front trigger, I don't think it's worth it to even call it out. You'd rather just hope for the best. And if you get something like a Wonder Ezel, if he still has, I think he still has like 1 in his deck, right? You can call the Wonder Ezel and call the front, and that front trigger gets like 20k. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, right? So here we go. Looks like you're just going to swing with the Gorbaduck. This is only 18? 18, yeah. So 18. Yeah, 18. I think they're just putting dice. They have different numbers on them, which is weird. He intercepts with the 10k, grade 1, which is correct. Next, if he swings with the Gorbaduck next, it's also 18, same power, and he can just intercept the other Nightmare Bat. I mean, Apocalypse Bat. Dekrem's putting in work. Yeah. So it looks like it's just trying to figure out the attack pattern. You do attack, I think you do attack with the front, like everything on the Excel circle here, and then you can attack with Vanguard to try and trigger some stuff. And then hopefully, yeah, intercept with the other Apocalypse Bat. Now he attacks top 5. You can call 2, and then if you have something extra, you can call it in the last one. So like a Wonder Ezel can be, you can fill out your 3 front rows again. Gets the Percival, which is very important, because now you can create another Excel and basically get another attack off from that with the Aglavale. Gets a Berengaria again. This time can counter charge if he wants to. Does he? You don't really need a soul there. So both of them getting, it will be 20k now because that Percival's creating an extra column. That's fat. That's fat. All right. Uses Percival, discard the front trigger. Is that the front trigger? Yeah, front trigger. Gets the Excel circle right. Yeah, there we go. Using those, using the protects, draw from the Excel 2. Then let's search for an Aglavale. Looks like he might be out, so he's just gonna get it from the drop zone. So there's one there. Oh, gets it from the deck. Yeah, deck thinning is deck winning. And then, yeah, this is a pretty devastating field. You got that Gurguit, he's 20 plus 20, right? So it's like a 40k swing. Then Berengaria is 34, Percival is 37, Aglavel is 34 but can become 44. And that Dindrain column, chilling out at 14, no, it should be 17 plus 20, so it's 37. And then Parabol is just sitting around being 16. Alright, so look, Ryan Kai forced to guard everything. I don't think he has enough nulls to guard everything, but he still nulls this one. But his hand is going quite low. He definitely needs 2 cards to basically guard those 4 attacks there, which is impossible because he doesn't have enough. So he's got to really rely on some nice heal triggers. Puts the heal, I think he puts it on the Dindrain. This thing hitting him for 16, he can 5k guard. This 10k's guards it, overguards, but again, you don't run that many 5k guards in this deck. And then somewhere here, you will have to heal once or twice, right? Once or twice, because these things hit really big. Really big. He's got, what, 3 cards in his hand? He has to, so exact? Basically exact. If he takes one, and then it's a trigger, he might have exact to guard the rest. Which is your, like, takes it, and doesn't get it, gets a draw trigger, and then he draws the heal. Like a pro. So, pretty interesting game from Ryan here. It was nice to see some new stuff versus some old stuff. Watching Luard get beat, I think, is everyone's favorite favorite pastime now, because everyone hates Luard. But seeing Gurguit in action and seeing how ridiculous it can be, is pretty good. It's pretty good. Maybe we'll see more Gurguits in the future with some crazy. Like, I think this build doesn't run Sagramors. I didn't really see any Sagramors. I know Japan really liked Sagramors. Some people were talking about some Ezel engines as well, just to superior right up. But yeah, no Sagramor here. I think you run like multiple Paramors instead. So like it's like an 8 grade 3 engine. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Gurguits progress from here. But very nice game. Good plays from both sides. Don't forget to get your card from Paramore. All right, Paramore is not that bad. It's not just Counterblast 1 call a card from man. Don't forget that draw. And with that, I'd like to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.